Well, hello there, people in the internet, and hello again. I'm TheMBmulti. Welcome to part 37 of my Let's Play Doki Doki Encore. In the previous episodes, Monika has been, acting very strange. She's both glad that we chose her, but at the same time, she's also like, yeah, I want to talk to the real you behind the screen. So, and of course, we were busy with our intimate moment, where she said, "Good choice." And then, of course, we had Monika has to make the important announcement. So I guess we can skip this, because then she's going to talk about... she's going to talk about the photography club, I believe. Yeah. Biannual Meet the Clubs piece that they do every semester, blah, blah, blah. So I wouldn't mind baking cupcakes again. Turns out Mark isn't that bad of a cook. She says that directly looking at me. Natsuki certainly isn't letting what just happened between me and Monika go. I tried to move past the sudden awkwardness. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Nat? Nat? Where did that come from? Yeah. I chuckle to myself, but in the corner of my eye I see Monika shooting me a stern look. I should probably take the hint and stop. What did I say? Oh, yeah, there. I was being funny with Natsuki. Whoa, forget about that. Oh, forget about her. Monika clears her throat. I couldn't choose anything, Monika. This was just in the game normally. I can type up a summary of... Oh, yeah, this is all the same. And the walk home with Sayori was once again filled with awkward silence. Especially considering how Sayori saw me getting too comfortable with Monika. Though we're able to make at least some small talk, with mostly just talking about how our days went. Right. I take it Sayori probably thinks I'm going to have an extended cuddling session with Monika tonight based off what she saw earlier in the club. Well, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I got nothing going on for tonight. I'll see you in a bit, okay? Okay. Go on, you know I'd love to have you over. It's been too long anyway. Alright, I'll see you in a bit. See you. Sayori happily skips to her porch and enters her house before I can say anything else. Well, that seemed to put her in a good mood. Hopefully I can start making things right between us. Alright, and then this... Alright. Oh yeah, I'm looking for my old poems. I pull my poems out of my stack and start organizing them a little. Reading through them, I see how far I've progressed as a writer. My more recent poems certainly seem more developed and structured compared to the first poem I wrote. Guess Monika was right, I am getting better. I can't help but think back to the last poem I wrote. Monika. Just Monika. I guess all her motivation finally rubbed off on me. Maybe I was trying to impress her the whole time. Alright, and then Sayori comes over, and then we watch that cartoon together. Yeah, I'm glad I got to spend some time with Monika yesterday, and today as well. But maybe I should start spending more time around you again. I feel like I've been too distant from you lately. Sayori shoots me a quizzical look. I thought you and Monika liked each other, though. Or do you like Natsuki? I mean, I like them both, but we're just friends. There's a moment of uncomfortable silence between us. I really didn't mean for you to see us like that, given what happened. I'm still surprised it happened as well. It's fine, Mark. I'm just glad that I was able to bring you out of your shell a little. At least something good came out of that. Yeah, if it weren't for you, I'd be on my way to becoming a full-time NEET! Okay. Oh, was that for Natsuki? Oh yeah, it must be. Oh, yeah, it is Natsuki. That's interesting though as well, because I was on Natsuki's route. You know, I essentially started off on Natsuki's route because I chose to go Natsuki's route. And then Natsuki gives me the poem. Yeah, oh shit, she likes me. Not to mention Natsuki probably knows I've read it. Yeah, so it's not Yuri. Because, you know, when I'm on Natsuki's route, normally Yuri writes me the poem. But when I'm on Natsuki's route and I spend time with Monika, then Natsuki actually writes the poem. And I guess the same thing goes when I choose Yuri's route, and then Yuri will write the poem. Open to find myself in a dark, empty space. What? I quickly get up and look around. I see nothing but darkness for what must be miles on end. My only source of light are tiny white dots that are scattered across the horizon. Wait a minute, am I in space? But I can breathe. Things are actually going well for once. A familiar voice echoes throughout the oblivion. That voice. It's back again. Why? You're doing a good job so far. This is perfect. Well, almost perfect. That little toothpick's love letter does make things a little more complicated than they need to be. But I don't think it'll matter too much. And another thing. Stop spending so much time around that hopeless moron. We don't need her, she's useless. She is dumb enough to believe that people actually want her around. Haha. But I know you won't mess up our progress for those letters. Losers. And I almost thought my backup plan wasn't going to work. I just can't wait to be in your arms and... Sorry, I shouldn't get too ahead of myself. All good things come with patience. I can't wait for tomorrow. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep spending time with me and I'll be all yours in no time. Until next time, my love. Again, Monika... Still no excuse for you bad-mouthing Sayori like that. I mean, it's still on Natsuki as well. I mean, you know, I would have been a lot more angry if you were bad-mouthing Yuri, but, you know, it's still Natsuki doesn't deserve that either. And especially Sayori. I gasped for air and propped myself up quickly. What was that? I feel a chill wreck my entire body as I shiver violently. Why am I so cold? It's not like I keep my room freezing. Am I sick? I clutch my forehead to check if I'm coming down with a fever. No, and the rest of me feels fine. What's going on with me? After a few minutes I stop shivering and look at the clock. Great, I don't have to be up for another hour. Well, I can try falling back asleep, but if I do, won't that voice still be there? If this keeps happening, I'm probably going to need a psychiatrist. Maybe I'm actually starting to go crazy. I don't feel like getting out of bed yet, so I just spent the rest of my time staring at the ceiling. Though the memories of my dreams slowly creep back into my mind. What does it want with me? And what the hell does it mean by keep doing what you're doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. Thankfully, before I can think any longer about it, my alarm sounds off. Alright, and then we can skip this. Oh yeah, are we going to tell Sayori? Yeah, save there. I would still tell Sayori. I decided to tell her. The past 2 nights, I've had these awful well, they're not that bad. They're not as bad as I've experienced before. Monika's actually, like, rather not... Me, of course. Except for the part where she just says that, you know... Stop hanging around with Sayori because she is useless. Of course, that's not a nice part, but, you know... Like, in comparison to those actual nightmares where Sayori is a psychopath and... kills herself, and where Yuri is like a yandere or whatever. You're like, apart from compared to that, this is ridiculously mild. But yeah, awful nightmares. I've had no idea what's causing them. Do you want to talk about it? I always get caught in the back of my throat. An overwhelming feeling of dread washes over me. This feeling, somehow it's worse than this morning. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Mark? Hearing Sayori's voice relieves the near-crippling dread. Sayori, last night I've been having these weird dreams lately. In my dreams there's been this really strange voice that's been telling me to pursue it. And I think it's telling me to stay away from you guys for some reason. I have no idea why. I know it was just a dream, but it feels too real for some reason. It keeps telling me to keep doing what I'm doing, and that it has plans for us. Plans? It was unsettling to listen to. But it's not like the night before was any better. How so? I was in space or something, and the same voice was telling all these weird things, telling me I need to keep doing what I'm doing. Though it wasn't exactly happy with me last night, it was mad that I spent time with you for some reason. Whatever that voice is, it doesn't seem that it wants me around you or any of the others. And it didn't say a lot of nice things about you guys either. Stuff like you're going to die or something crazy like that. keep spending time with me. It's all really strange. Sayori nervously swallows. Well, I don't know why you'd be having dreams like that, Mark. It doesn't make any sense to me either. But what if this was all a mistake? What is? Us trying to spend time together. After all this... Oh, calm down, Sayori. I doubt spending time with you could possibly be causing these nightmares. Well, about that. But still, I wouldn't change it. I mean, I know that I'm on Monika's ride right now, but, you know, she should be a lot more appreciative. She shouldn't still be lashing out at everyone. She should be grateful that I decided to deliberately choose to go on her route. I feel a pit form in my stomach. No, that couldn't be the reason. It's impossible. And no figment of my imagination is going to tell me otherwise. I am no figment, says Monika. I feel another rush of pain hit my forehead. Mark? It's fine, don't worry about it. I take a minute to nurse my forehead until the pain subsides. You know, despite all this, I'm surprised you don't think I'm crazy. Well, you think I'm crazy, don't you? No, Mark. I'm not saying that. Let's just say I've had weird dreams before too. So I know what you're going through. Were they as bad as mine? If you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. I won't push you if you aren't ready. Thanks, Mark. I guess we can just go to school now. I guess so. Wouldn't want to be late. Sayori seems to completely ignore my comment as we begin our walk to school. Man, then we can skip this again. Alright, and then we show the letter to Monika. Natsuki's letter. It all depends on how you feel about her. Do you like Natsuki back in the same way she likes you? I mean, I really don't know. I've enjoyed spending time around her. She's been fun to be around. And I had a blast with her last Sunday, but it's been nice getting to know you too, Monika. Especially since we really haven't talked that much. It's been nice getting to know you too, Mark. It must have taken you a lot to muster up the courage to finally talk to me. Well, come on, Mark. I've seen the way you've looked at me. How you're always stumbling over your sentences when I compliment you. How I take your breath away whenever I get close to you. It's really sweet. Monika, I'm completely left speechless. I really have always wanted to get to know you, and I'm glad we've gotten that opportunity, and well, who knows what'll happen next. Yeah, but let's figure this out first, okay? Yeah. Does Sayori know that Natsuki gave you this? No, I didn't tell her. And I really don't want to drag her into this. Yeah, it's probably for the best. You're better off figuring out what you want to say to Natsuki. Alright, so what should I say to her then? Just tell her how you feel, Mark. Natsuki wants to know what's in your heart. You need to figure out who suits you best. And when you're figuring it all out, you should ask yourself some questions. Yeah, then these questions are the same. Oh, come on, do you skip that shit then? Fucking hell. Alright, load. Tell Sayori, skip this. I hate it when they allow me to skip and then they actually show me new stuff. Right, they're talking and then... Okay, there we go. Have we talked that much? It's been nice getting to know... Okay, there we go. I'll just manually go through this. Glad we got to spend time together. Yeah, alright. Hey, who can you always count on? Who can you always trust? Who would you be the happiest with? Who will always help you out? Help you? Who wants to see you succeed and is capable of helping you? Who are you proud to sit next to, no matter what? Who will always put a smile on your face and build you up? Who isn't afraid to stand against the world with you? And I think you know one girl that checks all of those boxes, don't you? I know you'll make the best decision for the club, Mark. It's all for the club. It's all for the club. I have faith in you. Monika's questions begin to echo in my head. Who would I be the happiest with? Who could I always trust? Who would I be proud to say, yeah, that's my girlfriend to friends and family? I guess it'd have to be... Yeah, Monika! I'll definitely have a lot to think about later. And why didn't she do that during the other routes? I would expect that shit to be in the other rounds more than in this route. I mean, it's kind of funny that it isn't this route, but you know, I would expect that stuff to be in Sayori's route or in when I'm on the routes for Sayori, Yuri, or Natsuki. Then I would expect a lot more of that stuff to come in, because then I'm actually not spending any time with Monika, and then she goes more aggressive as the days progress, you know? But it's only the nightmares, and then that's it. And then, of course, she, hints a little bit when we, of course, talk to each other. But like, hey, do you want to read this poem? And then I go, oh, keep that in mind, Monika, bye. And then, of course, I would choose to go with Yuri or whatever, whichever girl's route I'm on. So yeah, why didn't they put that in the other routes too? It makes a lot more sense for that stuff to be in the other routes rather than in Monika's routes. I mean, I like that it's here too, because Monika's like, even though I choose to spend time with her specifically, she also at the same time, she is like scared that I will deviate from the path or whatever, because she can almost touch it, you know, like something that you want, you can almost touch it, it's just out of reach, and you're super scared that it will just slide away and that you will once again be out of reach again. So, you know, I can understand why Monika would be very afraid of losing it, so that's why she still goes on with the, well, not be a nightmare, but you know, still goes on with those nightmares and stuff. But it would make a lot more sense for that stuff to be even more present in any of the other girls' route. But then it was only the nightmares, and that was about it. So, you know, it's a bit strange. And also, you know, technically you should be, while you're choosing to spend time with Monika, you should really be working towards feeling good about being with Monika, but then she comes in those nightmares and says terrible things about the other girls, and that is very off-putting. So then, you know, it's also a bit conflicting, you know, because you don't really want to spend time with someone who badmouths your friends like that, you know, again, even though they are not real, technically. But, you know, so is Monika to me. So, you know, I don't really feel like they should have put all of that aggressive bad-mouthing everybody else stuff more in the other routes, you know? When I was on Sayori's route, she should be bad-mouthing her a lot more than she was doing just in the nightmares. And then cut all that bad-mouthing stuff completely out of Monika's route, where she's just completely blissful and happy that you're spending time with her, and then encourages you to continue doing it throughout those nightmares, you know? That would make a lot more sense, because when I deliberately choose her, she badmouths everybody else even more than before. So then you're like, that's very off-putting, you know? So there you're like, I'm becoming a bit hesitant, like, you know, I'm hesitant to hover my mouse over the button to click to spend time with Monika, you know? Kind of like what I said on the end of Yuri's routes, where Monika doesn't earn any sympathy because she constantly badmouths everybody, and that is very off-putting, so therefore you deliberately want to work against Monika in every possible way. You know, if she played like I said, it borders a bit on manipulation, but if you play the sympathy card, where she asks you, like, don't you know how fucking frustrating it is to know that you're the only real person in this game? Everybody else just responds, everybody's response before they even say anything. You know, like, if you just talk about that, how lonely and isolating it is, then you could be like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Monika, like, what the hell, like, that's tough, you know? But no, she goes ahead and badmouths all the other girls, which to me are just as real as she is, so, you know, they should have, in my opinion, cut out all the badmouthing for Monika's route and sprinkled that more into the other people's routes, and also the glitchy stuff. I mean, they can keep some of the glitchy stuff in here, where Monika is just, like, very subtly steering you in the right direction, even though you're going in the right way, you know, for her. Like, every interaction you have with somebody else, she, like, very gently steers you in the right direction by some glitchy stuff or whatever. But, like, the majority of the horrible or bad-mouthing and stuff that she does should have really been cut out of Monika's route and put into the other ones, in my opinion, because when she does that, at least for me, I automatically, like, start to feel less for her, because, like, wow, what a bitch to badmouth everybody just like that, you know? No problem, Mike. Hope I calmed your nerves a bit. Yeah, you helped. Though I don't know if I'm ready for the club today. Don't know if I'm ready to deal with all this. I'm sure she won't ask you about it today, Mark. But it wouldn't hurt to decide on what you want soon. Yeah, the sooner the better, I guess. Yeah. Monika takes a look at her watch. We still have some time before lunch period ends. Would you care to join me? Sure. Stressing over this does work up quite the appetite. I'm sure it has, Mark. Come on, let's head back. Without another word, Monika and I head down the steps back to the cafeteria. I really wasn't social with Monika and her friends when we came back to join them. What? Wasn't? Oh, I really wasn't social with Monika and her friends when we came back to join them. Other than some occasional chatting, I mostly kept my mouth shut and zoned out. My mind was racing the entire time, attempting to answer the questions Monika gave me. And I'm still a little paranoid that Natsuki is going to try to talk to me in the club later. I didn't feel prepared for this, but I guess I did sort of ask for this to happen. Now I've just got to figure out what to do, what I want to do next. I really need to thank Monika when this is all over. Aww. Her advice has been pretty helpful so far, and I feel like I'll ultimately figure things out thanks to her. She certainly has been dependable. Before I can finish my thought, the school bell rings, signifying the end of the lunch period for me. Well, I guess it's back for boring old math for me. Oh, good luck, Mark, says Akari. And Ria says, yeah, it was nice catching up with you. Likewise. I'll see you girls later. Later, Monika. Akari and Ria pack their things and walk out of the cafeteria, leaving me alone with just Monika. Well, I guess I'll see you at the club later then. Yeah, I'll see you then. Hopefully you'll be able to give those questions some more thought. I will, it's certainly a lot to think about. It'll all be worth it in the end, Mark, believe me. Well, I do trust you, so... Looks like you've already given those questions some thought, huh? My face turns flush... What? My face turns flush with embarrassment. Well, yeah. You're the person I trust most to help me through this. How interesting. What do you mean? Oh, don't worry about it. You have enough on your plate as is right now. Yeah, you're right. Monika shoots me a reassuring smile, and I can't help but return one myself. I can walk you back to your class if you'd like, Mark. The world around me goes into a freeze frame. She's actually willing to walk me back? Come on, Mark, don't blow this. Oh, well, sure. Oh, I can't even choose now. Ah, interesting. You seem surprised. Well, I wasn't expecting you to ask me, and I'd hate to make you late to your own class. I'll be fine, Mark, don't worry. Well, okay. Great, come on, let's go. I timidly follow Monika out of the cafeteria. Okay, so I can't even choose now. Now that I'm on Monika's route, I have to walk with her. Okay. Monika and I make our way through the crowded hallways up toward the second floor. I turn to her, our eyes meeting. You know, you didn't really have to walk me back. Well, I just want to make sure you're holding up okay. A lot of people tend to break down in these kinds of situations. Yeah, but I'll be fine, I think. Well, you can always count on me if you need anything, Mark. You're too kind, Monika, really. I try. It's important to me that you're always in the best state of mind. I avert my gaze to hide my incoming smile. Jeez, I didn't think Monika would ever be this nice to me. It's almost too much to handle. As we walk through the hallways, I can't help but notice several of the other students catching glances in our direction and whispering. Monika apparently picks up on this too. They're not thinking that we're a couple. That only continues to make me flustered. Monika slides up to whisper in my ear. This is nice, isn't it? To have someone walk with you? To keep you company? Yeah, it is. Does Natsuki... Hey, what's up? I hear someone yelling to us from across the hallway. Wait a second, I recognize that voice. Natsuki? Wow, you're cheerful. Yeah, this is Ohio Sayori, but then the Natsuki version, so this would be Ohio Natsuki. Natsuki? Well, duh, who else? Mai, you startled me. I was really going for Mark. Hey. Well, you do it all the time. Why can't I do it to you? Fair enough. How are you doing, Natsuki? Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just heading to my next class. That's nice. Yeah, we're just heading back from lunch. Turns out we have the same period. Crazy, right? So, do you guys have the same class or something? No, it's just walking Mark back. I have Mr. Takahashi's class next. Isn't that all the way on the other side of the school? Oh well, I didn't think taking a slight detour from my normal route will make me late or anything. Yeah, I guess. There's a bit of an awkward pause between us as the other students begin clearing the hallways. Well, I guess that's my cue to head out. It's alright, Natsuki, we'll see you in the club. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, there goes my anxiety about going to the club today. Though I do my best to smile back. Laters! We'll see you later, Natsuki. Bye! Now, I like that Natsuki a lot more than the Natsuki that constantly chews me out for no reason. We wave goodbye to Natsuki as we head our separate ways. Not too long after our run-in with Natsuki, Monika and I finally make it to the classroom. Thanks for welcoming me back, Monika. Anytime, Mark. I hope you have a great rest of your day. You too. Whoa, hi. Monika takes a step closer to me and leans into my ear. Try not to overthink. She suddenly pulls on my tie. And make sure your tie is straight, silly. See you later. I'm left completely dazed as I watch Monika gracefully walk down the hallway and turn the corner towards the other side of the school. I catch a few of my classmates smirking at me in the corner of my eye. Flustered, I just walked into my classroom and hastily sit down, refusing to make eye contact with anyone as I process what just happened. I mean, it's pretty fun. I do like how Monika is like that. Like, you know, she is of course very... there's a very hands-off approach, kind of, you know. I mean, she doesn't directly do things. She indirectly tries to manipulate my choices by giving the nightmares and suggesting things between the lines that she says. And, you know, stuff like that. And when I'm actually finally, like, deliberately choosing to spend time with her, she is very direct and very touchy as well, because she's like very in her elements, you know, because she's like all lovey-dovey and stuff, you know. I kind of like how they represented her like that, you know, because it does feel like that would fit her character. But, you know, she finally has what she wants and she is like completely love-struck. Alright, and then we can skip a little bit here. And she did, oh yeah, Monika. It's always about Monika, especially considering how Monika was to me. Oh yeah, though I guess that just leaves time to think about everything. Especially considering how Monika was with me earlier. Was she flirting with me? She was incredibly helpful to me today, that's for sure. Excuse me, that's for sure. And she did help make things less awkward between me and Natsuki. I don't know. I know Monika wants to help me. But is that all she wants though? I mean, I don't see much of a reason she'd be interested in me. And I've only just gotten to know her a little more recently. Is she really all that interested in me? Well, I guess this all just ties into the questions Monika said I should ask myself. But right now, I can't really decide on who I'd be the happiest with. This is hardly the time and place for this. I can think about this later. I should just try and focus on paying attention to this stupid algebra. After long last, the bell rings, signifying that the school day is officially over. Though I suppose that means I'm going to brace for the worst with Natsuki. Though I have a general idea of what I'd want to say if it comes down to it. Well, hopefully things will just go smoothly for today. I finish packing my things and head out into the hallway to meet Sayori. Sure enough, I spotted Sayori waiting just outside the classroom. Hi Mark! Hey Sayori! Ready for another day of fun and literature? I try to put on the most enthusiastic smile I possibly can. Yep, let's go. That's the spirit. I still remember the first time you came with me to the literature club. You almost didn't want to go. Well, I owe that to you, Sayori. You don't owe me anything, Mark. Just seeing you happy is its own reward. I can't help but genuinely smile at that. Well, let's get going. With slight hesitance, I begin the walk with Sayori to the literature club. As we're traveling our usual route, I still can't help but feel the anxiety well up within me with every step I take. Though I just take a deep breath and tell myself everything will be fine. Thankfully, Sayori seems to be blissfully unaware of my apparent apprehension, but it's probably for the best. Eventually, we stop right outside the club. Well, here we are. Yep, can't wait to see what's in store for today. Sayori opens the door and steps into the club with me right behind her. Let's just get this over with. Sure enough, the club's the same as it's always been, with everyone in their normal spots doing their normal routines. Monika quickly spots us coming in. Hey guys! Hi Monika! How are you two? I'm doing pretty well. I'm looking forward to another great day with you guys. Oh, Sayori. She's always a charmer. I take it you already have her poems, Mark? Yeah, I got hers yesterday. I just need your poems and Yuri's. Fortunately, I remembered to bring them. I'll give them to you by the time the club's over. Alright. Well, you guys can go sit down. We're gonna get started in a few minutes. Sounds good to me. Monika leans in to whisper something to me as Sayori goes to sit down. So, how are you holding up? Still thinking over a lot of stuff. Though, in case Natsuki asks about her confession letter, I have an idea of what I want to say. Well, that's good. Still, I think it's a pretty sensitive topic for you two, so just be careful with what you say. I'll try my best. Great! Well, I'll be here if you want to talk more, Mark. Right now, I think I could use something to calm me down a bit. It's been a fairly stressful day for me thinking about all this. Whenever I'm feeling stressed out, I find that music usually helps calm the nerves. I've been working on something if you want to give it a listen. I'll think about it, bye! Well, it's not bye, it is a sure. Anytime. Monika goes back to the teacher's desk, leaving me standing in the middle of the room once again. Looking around the room, I try to figure out who I can talk to without completely melting down or making some sort of scene. So of course that leaves Natsuki out of the question. I guess that only leaves 3 people I can try talking to. Yeah, I'm also pretty curious what happens when you're like on somebody's ride and you start spending time with somebody else, you know? Like, Yuri hasn't given me it hasn't given me a love letter at all, or anything, because I just haven't been spending time with her on this route. Like, what would happen if I would spend lots of time with Yuri now? Would she be the one giving me the love confession or whatever? Like, an additional one, because Natsuki's already given me one. Like, what would Yuri now do if I start to spend more and more time with her? I'm a bit curious about that. But anyway, we're obviously spending time with Monika.